Fairgrounds last night. We're hearing 2 girls injured. According to the Grant County Sheriff's Office, a 15-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl were shot. Creme TV Spokane first to report the suspect, a 15-year-old boy from Wenatchee, has been detained. The Sheriff's Office there in Grant County saying they owe a lot to fairgoers for helping them find the young man here, the young boy. The shooting happened at the carnival end of the fairgrounds. The 15-year-old victim was attending the carnival with the suspect and sustained gunshot wounds to her back. We're told the 12-year-old victim was a bystander and was shot in the leg. Their conditions unknown at this time. The shooting happened, as we mentioned, in the carnival area. Fairgoers on most of the grounds were then asked to evacuate immediately. However, the rodeo was not evacuated. Those in the campground were not asked to evacuate as everything was secure once they found the young person. The battle of what's being called the 2620 wildfire on the Olympic Peninsula continues. This is on the west side of Hood Canal, north of Lake Cushman here. The fire burning actually about 5 miles west of Brennan, estimated to cover about 450 acres. Crews were seen Thursday using helicopters to battle the fire on Mount Jupiter and grabbing water fill for the water tanks there from nearby Lake Cushman. The fire seems to be threatening about 50 homes. People living along a stretch of Duckabush Road are under level 1 and level 2 evacuation orders right now, which means be alert or be ready to leave. Fire officials say it's been years for a fire this close to the town of Brennan.
We get lightning strikes, and so we get occasional pop-ups and so on, but being so close to home, no, this is not normal. But the last time something actually threatened Brennan like this was over 100 years ago.
Right now, authorities are telling people to stay off the Duckabush Road there near Brennan, except for residents. They're also asking people, please do not fly drones in the area whatsoever, due to the fact, of course, they've got a lot of aircraft battling that blaze. Check it on sports. No win last night. First game here for our friends there at South Hill Puyallup in the Little League World Series. They've got another game planned, 10 a.m. tomorrow. You'll see it on ESPN. Traffic for you right now. We got John Nelson in the High Performance Homes Traffic Center with this update.
Yeah, if you thought about taking the ferry, reservations are full right now for the Port Townsend Coopville ferry run. Alternate routes would be Mukilteo Clinton ferry run, and looks like Edmonds Kingston as well. We also have some police training going on Port Townsend Coopville ferry run area, so they're going to be on one of the boats there. So don't panic if you see some unusual activity. It's a training exercise. We have a concert at the San Michelle Winery. That's going to create extra heavy traffic through Woodinville. Concert going on in the White River Amphitheater as well, so a lot of extra heavy traffic there as well, so a little something to watch out for. I'm John Nelson, Northwest News Radio Traffic.
And the forecast for the weekend, sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services. We're not kidding. Weather warning issued here after 6 p.m. tonight, after mostly sunny skies here and temperatures near 80. You're going to feel rather sticky and muggy here as the day progresses, indicating we're having some changes with a lot of moisture on the way, enough for thunderstorms and lightning and hail, very gusty winds, power outages likely with power wires down and trees and tree debris in the roadway. And we've also got maybe a flash flood issue here for west and east sides of the Cascades. So again, after 6 p.m., just whatever you're doing out and enjoying the weather today, maybe get back home so you're indoors before this storm rolls into the area. Of course, keep it right here at Northwest News Radio. Right now, our temperature is at 62 here. I'm Mark Christopher, Northwest News Radio. Good morning.
The following program was paid for by LifePoint Law and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Radio management or staff.
Aging Options, how can we help?
It's time to know your options and master your future. My life, my plan, my way. LifePoint Law presents Aging Options with elder law attorney and life planning coach Rajiv Nagaich. Health, housing, finance, legal, and family. Know your options. Aging Options is not a law firm, but Rajiv is a lawyer. You should not reveal things you wish to keep confidential in this public setting. This program offers general advice. Having your questions answered does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. Contact your attorney or other professional to discuss your unique needs before taking any action related to the subjects discussed in this program. Now, here is nationally recognized retirement planning authority and host of national public television program, Master Your Future, Rajiv Nagaich.
And we will bring him on in just a moment. Hi, everybody. It's Mark Christopher. It makes sense. All my skills, some 45 years of radio. Why don't I run the whole studio so somebody like Rajiv can just concentrate on his craft of telling you all that he's learned about retirement. And I know what you're thinking. You hear that word thinking, well, I'm not old enough for that. I got years to go. I won't learn anything. I challenge you, listen for the first half hour, even if you just have your first job, and the things you're going to learn and remember. just what is about to be shared. For example, some of the topics Rajiv's going to take on here today: retirement community drawbacks. As Rajiv always reminds us, our choice of retirement housing is critically important. Last week we shared how aging in place might not be right for everybody. Well, today, another side of the coin, some drawbacks to think about if you're considering moving to a retirement community. Important insight, so stay tuned. All right, doctors judging patients. We hear this often. When you bring some idea to your doctor, does he or she treat you with dismissive, arrogant attitude? Turns out it might not be your imagination. We'll share some new research that describes how doctors tend to look down on patients whose medical views might be out of the mainstream, so to speak. And coping as a caregiver. Why do I think we're going to bring on Joel Hilliard of Home Watch Caregivers to help on this one? I see a phone ringing. Caregiver fatigue and burnout, a very real problem for the 50 million Americans who care for loved ones. Some ideas on how to cope and some helpful information today. Again, perhaps from a very special guest here. And financial scams. I got 3 this week. Not kidding. Another big scam announced just this week involving Social Security numbers. On top of that, we'll talk about other scams to watch out for and how to protect yourself from becoming such a victim. You got to be smart. It's all right here at Aging Options. He's all right here. He's all yours at 206-421-1000. Good morning, Rajiv Nagaich.
Well, hey, good morning to you. I thought you were going to give me a permanent vacation after 34 years. Who the heck needs everyone? I've heard it all. And I think I can handle your questions. Just call me directly. And I was saying, okay, maybe it's time for me to jump in the car and go home. But you didn't do that, did you? Mark, what a great set of stories today. I mean, the one that the one that's an evergreen always is the fraud stories. So I think, clearly I'll be suggesting that you take a look at this story. I mean, these are things that probably somebody in your family may have already gone through, but they may not even share it with you. Why not? Because think about the scams they're talking about, the romance scam, the grandchild scam, the cryptocurrency scam, the tax scam. My God, I mean, the scams just go on and on. And when you get scammed, and I have clients who will, from time to time in confidence, share with me that they have been taken for anywhere from $30,000 to $150,000. And in one case, sadly, pretty much all the cash savings that they had got wiped out, well over $500,000. And the stigma to this is, of course, that, no one wants to talk about it. So take a look at the story. You can protect yourself. There are all sorts of great tips in the story. But then there are the other stories that we talk about all day long. In Aging Options, we talk about things like when we grow old, we don't want to end up in an institutional care setting against our wishes. And this story that comes in today, retirement communities, benefits aplenty, but some notable drawbacks. And for that, we'll have Joe Hillier, who'll be calling us. Joe, I think you're on the air, aren't you?
Rajiv, good morning. Good morning to all your listeners out there.
I am well. Joe, just briefly, tell us a little bit about who Joe Hillier is and what makes him competent and qualified to be able to talk about these issues.
I'm Joe Hillier. I'm the owner of Home Watch Caregivers, and we take care of seniors in home all across Western Washington pretty much now. And we do things like personal care, companion care, transportation. We have do this work in your home, in independent living communities, in retirement communities, and some of the things we're going to be talking about today. We've got some great insight because we're down there with folks, doing our work every day and seeing what happens in these communities.
Right, and so we'll be talking to you about this story and some other stories. But, Joe, we have Tom from Linwood calling. Let's just get to Tom and see what he has. Tom, welcome to Aging Options. You're on the air. What's in your mind?
Thank you. I'm updating my estate planning documents, wills and powers of attorney, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm finding something unusual. This is about the third time that I've done it, and I've in the past notarized health care planning, power of attorney, general power of attorney, a directive to physicians, and also the last will, notarizing all 4 of those documents. But I'm running into an issue. I've done it easily in the past with banks, but now their notaries won't notarize any of those documents. And I'm wondering what has changed in the last 10 to 15 years that has created this situation. And who do I go to get it notarized? And should I bother to get them notarized?
So let's start with the last question that you had. Should I bother to get them notarized? If you want some legal documents to become legal, there are some requirements, and then many of these documents will need to be notarized under statutes of frauds requirements, and there are all sorts of rules that come into play. Now, with a healthcare power of attorney, you don't need that notarized. You can just get it witnessed, but the witnesses must not be your caregivers, and preferably, not required, but preferably not your family members. The power of attorney for finances, that needs to be notarized. The will definitely needs to be notarized if you don't want the witnesses to end up in court proving that they were there to go and witness you sign the documents. The music is on, Tom. Hold on. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation.
206-421-1000 anytime here during the hour. Don't wait till last minute to reach Rajiv Nagaich. And anywhere, and any question you have about retirement, we'll get more to Tom's answer here coming up here. Also got some dates on the way for more workshops with Rajiv Nagaich in person with you and a friend or a co-worker. Hang on.
Thanks for listening to Aging Options on News Radio 97.7 FM and AM 1000. Learn more by going to AgingOptions.com for blogs, videos, and the Aging Options portal. Visit AgingOptions.com for blogs, videos, and the portal.
You get sick during your retirement years. There's no one to help. What happens? Strangers step in, social workers, judges, even the state. If you think you're exempt because you're married or have kids, think again. You can outlive all the people you trust. There could be a divorce you didn't see coming or an estrangement. Aging without support makes you vulnerable. And if there's any chance you could be aging on your own, your retirement plan needs to be ready for it. Is yours? Will your retirement plan work even if you end up alone? That's the question elder law attorney Rajiv Nagaich will help you answer at his free retirement planning seminars in September. Learn how to create a plan for retirement that keeps you in the driver's seat, no matter what happens.
There's a free retirement planning seminar near you. Bremerton on September 3rd, Federal Way September 5th, Lakewood September 7th. To register, visit lifepointlaw.com or call 253-838-3454. That's lifepointlaw.com, 253-838-3454.
Northwest News Radio. Aging Options continues. Along the way, we do have traffic and weather for you. John Nelson with this quick update for you here in the High Performance Homes Traffic Center.
Yeah, we do have some ongoing road work. I-5 express lanes is going to slow you down a bit. There's a concert at the San Michelle Winery and a concert at the White River Amphitheater, so look forward to extra heavy traffic there. Looking at pretty much average travel times. I'm John Nelson, Northwest News Radio Traffic.
And a forecast for the weekend sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services. Nice and sunny, as we said. Summer-like conditions, high of 80. After 6 p.m., weather warning issued. Thunder and lightning and hail. Could see some flash flooding in areas. Temperatures overnight at 62. I think, Rajiv, you and Jill think, this is my Monday song. This is like my Monday song. Get up early in the morning, get ready for radio, get in there, do some news, get ready for Aging Options so everybody can learn more about retirement. If you can't wait for retirement, oh boy, it's better when you have a plan so you can actually think about what you're going to have and all that you've accomplished. What better than some help with a couple of professionals right now here at Aging Options. Again, the phone number quick as we're going back to Tom here, who's got a question for Rajiv and Joe Hillier, 206-421-1000. Rajiv?
So, Tom, back to you again. And you were talking about basically what has changed in the Washington landscape where banks are refusing to notarize. And do I even need to bother to go ahead and get some of these documents notarized? My advice to you would be get them notarized, because even if you are going to use a Washington state document in a different jurisdiction where they have some notary requirements, it would be better for you to comport or comply with the requirements pretty much anywhere. So in our law practice, and indeed I would suspect that in pretty much most competent estate planning practices, you're going to go ahead and have every document notarized and witnessed. That way, it doesn't matter where you are in the country, that's going to be legal up there. So for those reasons, you do need to go ahead and get it notarized. At least it is advisable that you get them done. The other question you asked was what has changed in the landscape? Quite frankly, nothing has changed in the landscape. Notaries can still go ahead and notarize. The banks can still do it, but banks used to do that as an add-on. That this is just customer service that we do. You can count on us. We are there for you. Well, guess what? I mean, today, Joe Hillier and I, we were having a conversation, just getting ready for the show. What has changed I came to this country back in 1982. My dad came to this country in the 1950s, got his PhD, went back, and he always talked about how fair America was. Americans were all about, we should allow everyone to prosper. I mean, we wanted people to be able to make a good living. It was not about, I want it all at your cost. And today, I don't see that America existing anymore. I see more and more people, more and more businesses. Everyone is out for them. More people today, I think, are out for themselves, and the banks are really in that ilk. I mean, they don't want to provide this free service. It costs them time. It costs them money. They're always chronically understaffed, and they do a fair job what they do. But I mean, even banks, they just are looking out for the money. If you think they won't provide service, they don't want to. So your question is, well, where do I go now? Well, thankfully, there are professional notaries. I mean, there are mobile notaries. You can call some of these people. You can go online and take a look at it. You can go down to a lawyer's office. I mean, in our office, if somebody needs notary services, if there are clients, we still do the notary services for all our clients. And if somebody is not our client, then we will bill our time on an hourly basis. You can go ahead and get it done. But when you go to a lawyer's office, we know what the requirements are for the documents to be properly notarized. And if we notice any weaknesses the way that you have done it, we'll tell you, and then we'll fix it, and it'll get done. So you have choices. Sitting on the sidelines and saying, should I even get it notarized? Probably not a good idea.
Okay, one last question, please. With regard to a directive to physicians or a living will, should that be notarized as well?
Like I said, our practice in our law firm is, yes, it is to be notarized. I think that law actually, and please don't quote me in this, Tom, I'm going by memory now because it's been many years since I used to study the statutes every day. But back then, my understanding about the law is, and if you email me at radio@agingoptions.com, I'll verify it. Your healthcare power of attorney and your living will, they are not required under the statute to be notarized. The statutes have changed recently in the last 4 or 5 years, and I'll go back and look at it. But because our process in the firm is we're going to notarize all the documents, it doesn't matter whether it needs to be done or not. We just do it because you could end up in a different state where they may be looking for a notary, and I don't want my clients to be caught short in any situation. So email me at radio@agingoptions.com. I can look at the statutes and I can tell you which documents are required by law to be notarized and which they are not. But let me ask you this question. If you're going to get one document notarized, the notary is going to be sitting in front of you. Why would you not get everything notarized?
Just the expense.
Well, a few dollars here and there. I don't think it'll be more than, $50 would be the difference between it, if at all. But yeah, I think you can make your decision whether you want to do that or not. Email me at radio@agingoptions.com, and I'll be happy to look at the notary requirements under the current statutes for all these documents: wills, living wills, trusts, powers of attorney, handling of remains, and all that. Okay?
Thank you very much. I appreciate
thanks so
your
much,
help.
Tom. You bet. Hey, John. And Joe, that brings us right back to you. I want to talk to you about this article about retirement communities. There are plenty of benefits, but there are notable drawbacks. Talk to us about that article. I know that one of the things you do, even though you're a caregiving agency, it surprises me. It did surprise me the first time that you told me that you have a significant number of your clients are in independent living communities. And you see the communities inside and out all day long. So let's have that conversation a little bit. What are you finding out? What is your take on this article about there are plenty of benefits but notable drawbacks? Talk to us about that.
Well, I tell you, the article is kind of right on. Most folks prefer to age in place. 9 in 10 of us like to be at home. However, there's about 10% of us that do want to scale down, downsize, go to smaller place, whether that be an apartment or a condo or something like that. And a lot of folks end up over in retirement communities or in assisted or independent living communities or assisted living communities that are sometimes both independent living and assisted living are broken up into two different sections. So those are kind of how things break out. But there's a lot of things to consider as folks make those choices about, do they want to, move out of their home and move into one of these communities. And some of the things I tell folks is kind of 3 or 4 major positives and 4 or 5 negatives that they have to take into account before they do that. What I see with most folks is, when they make these decisions, or families, talk with me that they're making this decision for their loved one or whatnot, that, they're looking at the aspects of, the positive things. There's more socialization for their loved one, or, because they're going to be with folks their own age, or, you think you're going to be with more folks your own age. But there's also, you got that home and you got that maintenance cycle that your home goes through, and the cost of taking care of it and all that. And you don't have that anymore. So they got that burden that you don't have to put up with. And then, there's no more bills for things like, the utilities and the lawn care and just that regular home maintenance. So, you're not dealing with that anymore. That's a big relief to a lot of people. But the things I want you to think about that are somewhat negative as you balance whether this is right for you, is the cost. These places aren't cheap. Average cost in the state of Washington for a retirement community independent living is about $3,600. And, that's not including some of the amenities that also gets added to your bill, things that you may or may not use. Maybe you're in a CODI-style retirement community or CODI-style independent living community where you have a yard to be taken care of. If you're not going to take care of it yourself, and most of these places take care of it for you, there's usually a fee for that. That could be $100 or $200 a month. And then there's sometimes entry fees just to get in that can range anywhere from, a few $1,000s to $30,000 to, some places have a buy-in. They're almost like buying a small house, so there's that cost. But there's also things like, some folks, there's a lack of diversity for some folks that are worried about that sort of thing. And then there's what we call a generational segregation. And so that's, based on how old folks are, and, you don't have a lot of young people running around and whatnot. And I hear the music. I think we could talk about a little bit more of this for the music.
All right, yeah, let's go ahead and do that, and let's continue the conversation. If you have any questions around this issue, maybe you've got a parent, maybe you got a loved one at home, and you're concerned about them, this is the day to call. Joe Hillier is the one who does this day in and day out, hands-on. Whatever your questions, he can handle it. Give us a call.
Yeah, phone number to reach Rajiv and Joe here right now, 206-421-1000. Again, you're listening to Aging Options here, part of our Saturday edition of our Northwest Lifestyle Weekend. Again, 206-421-1000. Everything discussed, read up on it even more and go further with it here by going to lifepointlaw.com. Got your traffic and weather along the way with all this learning of a better retirement plan. High Performance Homes Traffic Center. Here's John Nelson.
Yeah, we do have the southbound I-5 and I-5 express lane off-ramps to Mercer Street closed for a big construction project. That's going to reopen around 5 a.m. Monday. I'm looking at a camera shot of something going on I-5 at Howell Street. Some people walking around. I don't know if that's a collision or some road work, but we'll check that out, see what's going on there. And again, something to watch out for I-5 at Howell Street. I'm John Nelson, Northwest News Radio Traffic.
And the latest on the forecast here, sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services. It's going to be nice and sunny, summer-like. Then it's going to look like November and stormy, and then back to summer-like conditions by tomorrow. The concern after 6 o'clock tonight, thunderstorms rolling in here. There will be hail. It'll be windy. It'll just be lightning up in many parts of western Washington. Of course, concerns of more fire ignition here in areas, flash flooding possible, both sides of the Cascades here, all after 6 p.m. and through the evening hours and early Sunday. Watch for debris if you're on the road early hours tomorrow, by the way. Right now in Seattle, summer-like conditions. We're at 62 here at Northwest News.
Can't you see I've waited too long to love you, to hold you in my arms.
Yeah, don't wait too long to grab a hold of your retirement. Have a plan, have some knowledge. If you have a job, no matter what your age, you're ready to plan here. In fact, an advance here in planning. And if you're thinking you're too old to plan for retirement, you're never too late. Just listen along and you'll see. Rajiv Nagaich, your host of Aging Options. Phone number to reach today to talk and ask a question, 206-421-1000 here at Northwest News. Rajiv.
Hey, and here we are. And by the way, Tom, if you still happen to be listening, I was able to go ahead and pull together a little list of documents that you do need to get notarized. And the trust and the wills are the two mandatory that you should get done. And with the will, there's no mandatory stuff. You can choose not to go ahead and get the signatures of your witnesses notarized. But if you don't have a notary to acknowledge the signature, then those witnesses will have to come to court upon your death to verify that they saw you signing. And if they're already dead, they're ill, they can't come, then it puts the will into a tizzy. So for that purpose, I think you will probably want to get the will notarized. The powers of attorney, the mental health advance directive, handling of remains, those documents, the handling of remains needs to be notarized. The trust needs to be notarized. But all the other documents, you can choose either to have it notarized, or you can choose to go and have two independent witnesses attest that they saw you signing, and that attestation has got language. So you want to make sure that you're using the right language if you're doing it on your own. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, call me, or you can email me at radio@agingoptions.com. Joe, we were talking about the retirement communities and stuff, that article, and I think you're right about the whole thing, that, even though for many people it may be the right option to go, in today's world, and you heard me talk about the whole thing, is that retirement community, there's a right retirement community, and then there's the wrong retirement community. And sadly, I think by far majority of the people who end up looking at retirement communities, by far majority of them are going to end up finding the wrong retirement community. In my mind, what is the right retirement community is a place that you move to one time with a total assurance in writing that once you move there, you'll never have to move out of that place again. If your money runs out, this place is responsible for you. If your health fails you, they've got every level of care. But that, unfortunately, is not every retirement community, is it?
No, it's not. And I'm going to say some questions I want folks to ask themselves as they're working through these decisions. When they look at where they want to go, it's like, I want you to think about, what is the location? Is it close to your loved ones, or are you just settling because of budget? Okay, that matters a lot. But also, what goes on in there in terms of extracurricular activities? What do they have in terms of arts, crafts, music, the things you are interested in? Do they have that there, or do you have to go down the street to the senior center, or do you, or do they have a lot of turnover in that position? Do they have a good activities director now, or do they have one? Because a lot of times you go in these places, to take a tour, they're on their best behavior and showing off the best and brightest, and not what goes on in there every day. Other thing I want to make sure folks are aware of, just what you said, the cost increases. You come in at one price, and a year later you're paying, 50% more, and that drives a lot of people away. But also, very true, close to true to everyone's heart is the food. The one complaint I get from everyone, you move out of your house, you're not in your home, you're not cooking for yourself. Someone else is doing the cooking very often for you. And is that food up to par? Does it meet your expectations? That's probably the one standard complaint I get, as I work with folks in these different communities.
Right. All right. Aging Options continues here. Rajiv Nagaich is your host. Everything we're discussing here can be found at lifepointlaw.com, including the seminars and workshops here in September 3rd, Tuesday nights, Bremerton at 6:30 p.m. September 5th, that's Thursday, 6:30 in Federal Way. And then we've got September 7th, that's Saturday, right after the show here, beginning at 11:30 in Lakewood. Free to attend. Bring a family member here. They're all free. lifepointlaw.com.
News, I'm Michelle Franz, and the Democratic National Convention begins Monday in Chicago, and Democratic organizers confirm President Biden and the First Lady will speak the first night. ABC's Mary Alice Parks has more on the convention.
They're going to have a ton of protesters in the streets around the war in Gaza. That's going to be tricky. And they have to face the elephant in the room, which is that Biden is not the nominee. That is going to be tough for them to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of voters that really still think that everything that happened was just too weird, too crazy, too head-spinning. They got to address it head on.
Brokered talks on a Gaza ceasefire deal set to resume next week in Cairo. The U.S. signaling a deal could be close. Secretary of State Antony Blinken headed to Israel for talks. In San Antonio, Texas, a spokesperson at the Lackland Air Force Base Joint Chapman Training Annex confirms guards at the main gate fired weapons today due to an incident and report of an active shooter off base. The base says there was no active threat to the installation or service members. And Hurricane Ernesto made landfall on Bermuda, still bringing torrential rain. This is ABC News.
The News Watch never stops. News Radio 97.7 FM and AM 1000.
The Northwest's only all-news station.
Your temperature 62 and sunshine. I'm Mark Christopher. Let's give you the latest now in the 24/7 Northwest News Center. Fire activity continues throughout the state. The Pioneer Fire still burning there at Lake Chelan with lots of smoke. Highway 12 over White Pass now at 5 weeks closure due to the Rimrock fires. We've also still got a closure here. We're looking at North Cascades Highway there in the higher elevations due to fire activity. We're also going to add a new one here. State Department of Natural Resources and other agencies still battling what they call the 2620 wildfire on the Olympic Peninsula. This is near the town of Brennan. A fire burning about 5 miles west of town, estimated about 450 acres. Very difficult terrain. As of Friday morning, a firefighter still on the scene here. No word of any containment at this time. Crews were seen Thursday using helicopters to grab water from nearby Cushman Lake there to battle the fire on what is called Mount Jupiter. Seems the fire threatening about 50 homes right now. People living along a stretch of the Duckabush Road are now under level 1 and level 2. Alert set is to be alert and be ready to leave. Fire officials say the cause of the blaze not yet known, but it's kind of unusual where the fire is.
We get lightning strikes, and so we get occasional pop-ups and so on, but being so close to home, no, this is not normal. But the last time something actually threatened Brennan like this was over 100 years ago.
Fire officials are saying everybody looky-loos of sort in public stay away from the Duckabush Road there near Brennan, and please no flying of any drones due to the fact they have so many aircraft now helping to battle that blaze. A third aging underground tank at the Hanford nuclear site there in Richland, suspected of leaking highly radioactive and hazardous chemical waste into the ground. U.S. Department of Energy here in recent days saying that since radioactive waste began being added to underground tanks in Hanford in World War II, at least 68 of the site's 149 single-shell tanks have been suspected of leaking or spilling waste into the ground. Checking on traffic right now. Let's get an update. Actually, let's get an update right now here from John Nelson, who's standing by here in the High Performance Homes Traffic Center. John?
Yeah, I'm looking at a camera shot of something going on, some possible road work that's got the right lane blocked I-5 right around Boylston. For the most part, we're looking at average travel times, average commute times getting to where you need to go. We do have road work taking up 2 lanes near Joint Base Lewis-McChord. This is on I-5 in the southbound direction at Stillicum-DuPont Road. But right now, no major collisions or stalls slowing you down. I'm John Nelson, Northwest News Radio Traffic.
We see some big changes coming weather in time, maybe to just sit back and watch the Seahawks at Titans for more preseason football later on today. Brian Calvert and a read on what's about to happen here in the Como Weather Center here. What do you see, Brian? Share with us right now.
Well, good morning, Mark. Something's going to not be quite right today. And what I'm talking about is we'll have plenty of sunshine and high temperatures will be 80, maybe even the low 80s, but it's going to be sticky. Something's definitely going to feel like it's in the air, and it is. It's humidity because of what's coming our way tonight. We have thunderstorms, thunder showers in the forecast, a ball of energy coming up from Oregon. It's going to hit us this evening, and the chance of thunder showers pretty significant. So I would plan for hail at times, heavy showers at times this evening, and that energy will be with us all the way through early Sunday morning. By the time Sunday afternoon gets here, however, the sun should be back out, and highs tomorrow will be in the low 70s. I'm Brian Calvert in the Como Forecast Center.
And you can bet the utility crews are being put on standby here, likely with all the wind and the storm on the way. We'll have power outages here and lots of debris on the roadway. If you're on the road early hours tomorrow, just be careful. Take it with ease. Right now, though, lots of sunshine to enjoy. 62 here at Northwest News Radio. I'm Mark Christopher. Good morning. Be a fun song to listen to in the 70s and thinking about what a fun time you're going to have when you hit the high school and college. And now the golden years is all about retirement. Thinking about retirement planning, why not? Got a guy to help you out right now here every Saturday from 9 to 10. Rajiv Nagaich, host of Aging Options, Things You Learn, and LifePointLaw.com. Again, the website. Look into the seminar, the dates I mentioned. We'll have more on that and everything being discussed. Rajiv.
And here we are. And you know what? We've got Lori, who slipped into the call range. So let's go to Lori. Lori, you're on the air. What is on your mind, dear?
Yes, I was wondering if, let's say my father needs to go to assisted living. He owns a house, and the assisted living place requires that he has 3 years' worth of cash to live there before Medicaid kicks in, before he can apply for Medicaid. So I was wondering if he sells his house and he takes the money for 3 years and puts it in a savings account and uses his money to get in, can he spend the rest of his house money to do what he wants with? Can he give that to his heirs, or not his heirs, his kids? Can he gift that rest of that money, or does the whole house money have to go into the account?
It's not the whole house money. I think this is not that difficult to understand. Here are the basic rules about Medicaid. If anyone wants to go on Medicaid, is your dad single or married at this time?
No, he's single and he owns his house outright. That's all he has is a house. He doesn't have any investments or anything.
Okay. So if he is single, the day that he goes on Medicaid, there are two pertinent questions that will be asked. The first question will be, do you have more than $2,000? Let's pretend the answer is no. The second question will be, have you given away any assets in the last 5 years? If the answer is yes, then the system will say, then why do you think we're dumb enough to pay your way, get your money back, and then use the money down to $2,000, and then come to look at us for help, or wait 5 years and 1 day before you apply for Medicaid from the day that you made the last gift. So where that leaves you is in a good situation that, your dad, he's going to be going to a care facility, but have you verified whether this facility will actually accept Medicaid?
Yes.
Okay. And so if they accept Medicaid, then you comport with those rules, and then you go, my suggestion would be go see an elder law attorney, because even though the rule is, have you given away any money in the last 5 years, there are exceptions to the rules. There are at least 5 different Medicaid programs that one can look to when it comes to applying for Medicaid. They all start with the same rule: have you given money away? But 2 of those rules, 2 of the programs will suspend that rule. Meaning, if you meet the qualifications for these 2 programs, you may have given money away, but you can still qualify for Medicaid right away. So I think what you need to do is to either study up on the rules and figure out which rule do you want to apply for. And my suggestion would be go to a good elder law attorney, tell them what you're dealing with, and let them do the analysis and tell you which program to apply for. And if a gift has to be made, they will make it in such a way so that we can coordinate as close as we can, that if this facility will accept Medicaid after 2 years of your dad being there, then the Medicaid program will kick in after 2 years. So now is the time to be looking at all these issues, not after the 2 years have run. Then you go to a lawyer, then you gift the money, and then you have to contend with the 5-year look back, and then you're planning. So there'll be more time that will be lost.
Right.
So you do that part.
I Googled, what is the exceptions if you, how far Medicaid goes back and what are the assets. And they were saying that the house, your house, if that's all you have is a house, that doesn't count in there. But if you have investments, 401ks, all that kind of stuff, that Medicaid.
So let me make sure that you understand this, Lori. Uncle Google is a very favorite and loved uncle. Why? He's free. You can get anything you want from Uncle Google, and Uncle Google is run by algorithms. If you ask a particular question, you'll be bombarded by similar types of content coming from Uncle Google, because they want to make you happy, and half that crap is crap. Yes, you can have a house. You can apply for Medicaid while you have a house, but you have to be living in the house. And to the extent that you're living in the house and you're on Medicaid, the government will put a lien on the house, which lien they will then exonerate when your dad dies.
Right.
So wonderful. I could have Medicaid, but now dad's will that says when I die, I want to leave everything to my kids, that has been by law rewritten or overwritten to say, oh, no. When you die, because you're on Medicaid, hand the house over to the state, and to reimburse the state what the state has paid for you. If there's any excess left over, that may go to the kids. So Uncle Google didn't lie to you that you can have a house, but Uncle Google didn't give you the full story that you need to have. You should truly, at this point in time, be less hesitant about going to a good elder law attorney. Why do lawyers go to law school when Uncle Google can do this analysis with no study in law school? Why would a lawyer go and spend 7 years between college and law school to understand these issues?
Right.
So there is value to that. I think, 1 month in that assisted living will be more money you will pay to the assisted living than you'd pay a lawyer. And let me give you the name of somebody you want to go see. His name is Aaron Paker. And his phone number is 253-838-3454. That's Aaron Paker, 253-838-3454.
What's his last name?
Paker, a Baker with a P as in Paul.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Lori. Thanks for the call. Ajon, best wishes to you, dear. Joe, do you want to add anything to that?
No, Rajiv, I think you've covered that one in good detail. There's a lot that goes into that, and each person's situation is a little bit different, and absolutely you need to consult, just basically what she was talking about. You need to consult with a good elder care attorney.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to go ahead and deal with. And Medicaid issues are not that difficult for an elder law attorney. But, anytime someone says, I got this information, Uncle Google, and then they come back and we have to clean it up, those are the worst cases. Those are the worst cases because now you have to clean up, you got to redo it. Not only you have to undo and then redo. So those are not good things to do. Listen, the music is going. When we come back, Joe, let's talk about this other story that we have up here, which is coping tips to ease the stress of being a caregiver. And then I want you to talk about a little bit about home watch caregivers. What do you guys do? Who are the best people you can help, etc. When we come back, we'll carry that conversation.
All that. If you got questions as well, you're more than welcome to call here. Aging Options every Saturday from 9 to 10. 206-421-1000. Everything discussed. You can read more into it and even learn more so, like the 3 seminars coming up where Rajiv gets out in the community and has discussion about retirement plans with everybody. You can bring a friend, a coworker. Go to lifepointlaw.com. Have a look here. lifepointlaw.com.
Thanks for listening to Aging Options on News Radio 97.7 FM and AM 1000. For more great articles to help guide your future, go to agingoptions.com. That's agingoptions.com and select blogs under the free Learning Center tab. agingoptions.com.
You know what keeps me up at night? The thought of outliving everyone I trust. My husband, my kids, even my grandkids. A woman I know went through this. She was a widow, and by the time she got sick at 95, all of her kids were gone. She had no one. Her retirement plan didn't account for this, so strangers had to step in to manage her life. I didn't want that from me or my husband, so we attended a free retirement planning seminar with Rajiv Nagaich. I am so glad we did. We learned how to plan for retirement in a way that prepares for the possibility that one of us might end up aging alone. It's such a relief to know that we have a plan that works, even if I end up on my own.
There's a free retirement planning seminar near you. Bremerton on September 3rd, Federal Way September 5th, Lakewood September 7th. To register, visit lifepointlaw.com or call 253-838-3454. That's lifepointlaw.com or 253-838-3454. lifepointlaw.com. 253-838-3454.
Quick look at traffic and some weather, and right back to more of Aging Options here at Northwest News. John Nelson in the High Performance Homes Traffic Center.
Yeah, we have road work with the roadway reduced to 1 lane. This is on Highway 529 near the Snohomish River Bridge. We do have an air show in the Bremerton area, concert at the San Michelle Winery. That's going to create extra heavy traffic through the Woodinville area, and pretty much no other real surprises on area roadways, at least for now. I'm John Nelson, Northwest News Radio Traffic.
Light winds, sunshine, low 80s. The start of our Saturday as we look at a forecast sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services. And after 6 o'clock, things will be changing big time here. A weather warning issued as we have thunderstorms moving into the area. Lightning possible. Worry, of course, more ignition here of fires in the area. We will have a few downpours measured in inches here. The rainfall on the way for some parts of western Washington. This will continue for the evening, overnight hours. And then tomorrow we'll get into more sunshine and you'll think we really had a storm. Early drivers, early morning hours tomorrow, watch for debris on the roadway. We could have a power outage as well.
You said that you are the future. The future looks good.
Future looks good as long as you have a plan of what you intend to do once you say goodbye to the Monday through Friday, or in my case, Saturday through Wednesday. All of us seem to have strange hours nowadays, but one day you'll have the freedom to do what you want. But do you have a plan and how you can stay that way? As we get back to Aging Options here at Northwest News Radio, and a question just to Rajiv and even to Joe Hillier here with Home Watch Caregivers. It's amazing how many people I run into to retire, and in a couple of months they come back to work. Like, yeah, and they say, I don't think I was ready. And I don't go any further than that. Was it mentally? Was it financially? Was it I missed my friends? So have a plan. This is a good place to start, Rajiv.
It just happens too, whether ready or not, here it comes. It's going to be here sooner or not. Let's go back to Joe Hillier. Joe, I want to kind of talk to you about that article that we have about caregivers, because that really is your bailiwick. So tell us a little bit about, who should be calling you? People are really afraid of calling caregiver agencies for the money part of things. So make a case as to why you are somebody that people should be calling.
Well, if you've got questions about, you or your loved one, as you begin to slow down or things begin to change and you're trying to figure out how this is all going to work, call me. That's what we're here for. I spend half my time on the phone giving people information, about, this is what it's going to look like as things change and your cost, and let's help you get a plan together. And then the other half of the time I spend, getting folks set up for evaluations and, taking care of the businesses of their caregiving. But, you just have a plan. There's, 10,000 people, 10,000 baby boomers retire every day. 7 of 10 of us, as we get older, are going to need some type of long-term care. So whether you're healthy and running marathons today, 10, 20 years from now, maybe sooner, you're probably going to slow down a little bit. It's going to be time for some help, and just call and let's have that discussion, what that's going to look like. If you're a few years out, from thinking you need care, again, it's time to have that conversation so you understand what, care and caregiving looks like and what those costs can be.
And, in your company, Home Watch Caregivers, and we had your CEO with us not that long ago, you guys are actually on the cutting edge things, and you guys are doing a little bit different. So tell us a little bit about what has changed in Home Watch Caregivers, which the consumer should be aware of.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll tell you, we're the oldest home care company in North America. We've been around for 44 years and been doing this a long time. So we've seen a lot. And what home care breaks down into generally is three silos. There's personal care, there's a companion care, and there's transportation. And that's what it's been forever. But as we see things beginning to change and changes that are putting on us through this Medicare 2025 and things coming after that, is requiring home care to take a little bit of a different direction. We have to segment and stratify how we do things, and we're the first in the industry to do this. We've broken down, what's categorically the three areas of home care. Again, companion care, personal care, and transportation. Now we've broken that out into 7 different areas. Things like active care, wellness care, personal care, transition care, care on demand. Then we have specialized care, which is where we do our dementia care and Alzheimer's care. And then with our home health partners, private duty nursing. And we've also integrated some new technology into things with active care, wellness care, whereas lighter hand, lighter touch, the ability to be able to reach out and do things through not telehealth, but through a video capability where a caregiver can do a virtual look-in on someone, or a family can do the virtual look-in, set them up for that technology. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of changes coming with Medicare 2025 and 2025 and 2026, and we jumped forward, trying to be prepared for those changes and to help people make those transitions as easily as possible and understand them as simply as possible. One other thing for us, there's this new technology we brought about called Home Watch Connect, and it's a great little device about half the size of your the box you have for your cable, for your Xfinity, or whatever you use, and it turns your TV into a communications platform with video where you can it's like having a Zoom call with your TV, your 36, your 42, your 85-inch, whatever size TV, and it's got a simple remote with 4 or 5 buttons, and it's a great tool. We can't keep it on the shelf right now.
I can imagine. So, I mean, this is amazing that we all have TVs and stuff like that, and staying in touch with your loved ones is such a challenge, particularly when you're out of town, when you're out of state. But today, technology makes that, and you guys are at the forefront of doing this. How do people get a hold of you, Joe, if they need to call you and maybe just talk to you about getting a caregiver in or exploring this technology that you guys have now at your fingertips? How do people get a hold of you?
Your listening audience can always reach me direct at 253-564-1006 and ask for me, ask for Joe. Tell the, if I don't answer the phone, tell whoever answers the phone that you heard me on the radio on Aging Options with Rajiv and you want to talk to Joe. So my staff can always help if I don't pick up. But yeah, 253-564-1006. Yeah.
Yeah, let me give that number again. Sorry, I spoke away. 253-564-1006. That's 253-564-1006. Look, if you have anyone that you're taking care of, you're concerned about your parents or your loved ones, just have a conversation with them, because sooner or later, when somebody falls ill, the question is going to be, where will this person go? Who will take care of them? What will it cost? Will they go broke, paying for this type of care? I think if the sooner you get started, at least exploring and understanding what your options are, the better your answers will be. Because the person who's falling ill, they probably want to avoid institutional care. And if you're the person who is now made responsible to take care of them, you're the one who's going to be stuck. Do I listen to the doctors or the medical community who wants to suggest they should go to a care facility? Or do I listen to my mom and dad who don't want to leave their home? And how will I put this off? How do I fit in my time? Joe Hillier can be a great resource for you. 253-564-1006. We'll be right back.
And if you didn't have time to write down that number, lifepointlaw.com. Everything that's being discussed today, retirement community drawbacks, coping as a caregiver, even more about like financial scams, another story that comes to mind for this week. Lifepointlaw.com, your connection to a better plan for retirement. Not quite done. Don't go away here. Aging Options continues here. A quick look at traffic and weather. John Nelson now in the High Performance Homes Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're looking really good right now. Road work has the roadway reduced to one lane at the Snohomish River Bridge. That's in the Everett area, of course, near Joint Base Lewis-McChord. 2 lanes blocked for a big construction project at Still-Looking DuPont Road. That's on southbound I-5. And the Meeker Street closed in the Kent area until further notice for ongoing road work. I'm John Nelson, Northwest News Radio Traffic.
The weekend forecast sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services. Sunny and summer-like conditions here for a while. After 6 tonight, an 80-degree temperature, maybe for high in Seattle. Storms are on the way. Thunderstorms, hail expected, very windy. Just plan for it hitting the area anytime after 6 p.m. and through the evening hours. We're back in the sunshine tomorrow, both today and tomorrow, with temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. Current temperature right now is 63 here in Find out about the workshops that Rajiv's got planned here coming in September. 90 minutes long, free to attend. Bring a friend. He'll be in Bremerton at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the 3rd of September. Then he's going to be on Thursday night in Federal Way at 6:30. 90 minutes again. Did I mention it's free? And then Saturday, right after the show at 11:30 in the morning at Lakewood. Get the reservation by just signing up and register here. And you go to lifepointlaw.com and we'll get you all set up for those workshops. They're a lot of fun too, Rajiv.
Hey, thanks so much. Boy, the time flies when you're having fun. Joe, thanks so much for coming on a Saturday. I know this is, we got a quick minute to wrap up. Any last things that you want to share with our listeners when it comes to caregiving and just aging in general?
I want to thank everybody for listening to me today. And if they ever have questions about caregiving or about, care planning or just questions in general about, getting older and what it's going to look like and who's here to help you, call me. Joe Hillier, Home Watch Caregivers. I can always be reached at 253-564-1006.
And there he is, folks. Joe Hillier from Home Watch Caregivers. Your ticket, the one number you want to keep handy to be able to call anytime that you need some help with someone in your family. Joe Hillier, Home Watch Caregivers. Thanks, Joe. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll be talking again sometime real soon.
Thank you, folks. Thanks, Rajiv.
You bet. And Mark, that just about brings us to the close. And I got to tell you that every time that I do this show, every Saturday when I come down doing it, this has basically become my purpose in life. 70% of Americans do not get to live out their retirement the way they were hoping to. 70%.
Right. And you share that every week.
It never ceases to amaze me as to why that happens in the richest country in the world and how easy it is for people to be able to get a handle on that. And
it's interesting, too, because people ask me, Mark, you produce these shows, you do so many of them. What's the key to the host? And what happens, and you fall in this category, Rajiv Nagaich, the fact is you came to America, you had a dream, you had an idea many, many years ago, and then you found there was a need. And it was the richest, like you said, the richest country in the world, but yet we lack taking care of, I don't want to say elderly, but just those who earn the right to retire and relax and not have to worry. And you found a way to maybe help that out by coming in and sharing your talents and skills and this knowledge. We don't learn this in school, so where do we go? So that's one reason I said, let me produce this show. I want to learn. And if all I got to do is push buttons and say hi and do some traffic and weather and remind you of the phone numbers, I'll do that.
You're modest about that. There's so much more that goes on to it, making sure that we have the right stories you can understand and doing that. But really, if I can leave you with any one thought, that would be you're going to be bombarded with 100 things that you need to get done. But probably the most important thing is going to be you. You need to take care of yourself and your loved ones. Nobody else is going to do it for you. If you don't do it the right way, you don't have anyone else to blame but yourself.
Final word.
Age on, everyone. We'll talk again.
The preceding program was paid for by LifePoint Law and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Radio management or staff.
From News Radio 97.7 FM and AM 1000.